All right, what is up, Poke Bros? Today we have something completely different. Sorry, I'm getting in a comfortable position here. It's pretty late my time, almost 2:30 a.m. Uh, Today is going to be the introduction of something that is completely new on YouTube. I'm the first person to do it. Let me start the music, the relaxing ocean sounds. I want you to picture yourself at this beach just doing nothing. Got nothing to do, no games to play, no work to go to, nobody to stress about. Just you and the waves and the sand and the breeze. Seems pretty nice, right? That's the mood I want you to be in for the rest of this video. Um, Today we're starting what's called the Let's Read. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Let's Plays before, where a YouTuber will play a video game and they'll narrate over it, show you some gameplay. It's a little bit of a fun, relaxing break. Well, today we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. A Let's Read is a new video series created by me, the one and only TEAL6, where instead of playing a video game, I'm just going to read you a book. Put the video on. You could put it on in the background. It just got to take it in. We're going to read together. As you might be able to tell from the title, the book that we got today is by one of my favorite authors, a Russian fellow named Leo Tolstoy. He wrote a book called War and Peace. War and Peace is a pretty famous book. It's less a novel, it's a work of art, though, I will say that. Some great characters, some deep philosophy. But that's not the book that we're going to be reading today. We might get to that another time. I don't know. I don't know if I want to revisit it just yet. I only read it about 2 years ago. So the book we're going to work on today, and for the rest of this series, is called Anna Karenina. Don't know actually too much about the plot. No, it's a very highly revered book. It's supposed to be quite good, and it's written by an author that I have a lot of faith in. Maybe you don't have time to read it on your own. Maybe you don't want to read alone. All of that can be put to the side for the time being. Sorry, just see a bug over here. I'll grab that guy. Yeah, and just like I'm zen about a bug, you should be zen about whatever's affecting you in your life at this point. Because you know what? No matter what the problem is, these videos are going to come out. If I don't make them, someone else will. This idea is too good to be kept under wraps. And, you have a bad day at work. You get into a fight with your girlfriend. You get in a fender bender. Any of that. Any of that could happen. But at the end of the day, we can get together and we can sit down. We can enjoy a good book together. Might be long, might be short, might be complicated, might be simple. Doesn't really matter. This background that I'm stealing right now, it's 3 hours long. I'm not going to be reading to you for 3 hours. I'll break it up into little chunks. Something that we can digest together. So, without further ado, I think we could get into Anna Karenina. It's translated by two fellows named Pavir and Volkonsky. James Woods from The New Yorker says, Pavir and Volkonsky are at once scrupulous translators and vivid stylists of English, and their superb rendering allows us, as perhaps never before, to grasp the palpability of Tolstoy's characters, acts, and situations. Now, if I hadn't said it before, one thing you should know, Anna Karenina was written in Russian originally. So there's a bit of an art, not only to the writing, not only what Tolstoy intended, but to the translation. And a translator is someone who's entrusted to a very high degree to preserve the original meaning of the text, but also to navigate the complexities that come with non-like to like languages. And there are fewer big jumps than Russian to English, absolutely. It's not as simple as Spanish to French or French to Italian. So I'm hoping that I can trust these two, that they'll give me a good idea of what Tolstoy meant. Just a little bit more from the back. In their version, Anna Karenina becomes a surprising rediscovery. Pavir and Volkonsky may truly be said to be the reinventors of the classic Russian novel for our times. And that's by the Penn Book of the Month Club Translation Prize citation. And just one more before we get right into it. At last, a version of Tolstoy's great novel that is neither musty nor overly modernized, nor primly recast as a Victorian landscape. With their usual fastidious precision for Russian context and modes of address, the prize-winning Pavir Volkonsky team has given us a pellucid Anna Karenina that speaks, as Tolstoy himself wished to speak, from within its own time, but for all times. And that's by Carol Emerson, a Watson Armour III University professor of Slavic languages and literature, Princeton University. Now, if that doesn't speak to the quality of this translation, I don't know what would. We have three sources that say these guys can be trusted. So let's see. How many pages do we have to work with here? Looks like a little bit over 800. Yeah, there's some notes in the back, so say about 820 pages. That's quite a bit, because the text is fairly small. So it seems like we have a long journey ahead of us, friends. Anna Karenina, a novel in 8 parts. Translated by Richard Pavir and Larissa Volkonsky. I have a very good friend named Larissa. She's one of my best friends, actually. That's a name I trust. I understand if 820 short text pages sounds like a bit much to you, but maybe you just take it slowly. I'm recording this video early March 2017. It's late at night and I'm on vacation. I don't have too much to do. I don't think that you need to finish it in March 2017, and that's just this video. You can read it whenever works best for you. I'm scrolling through the introduction at the moment because we can come back to that another time. Let us begin. Vengeance is mine, I will repay. Part 1. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. All was confusion in the Oblonsky's house. The wife had found out that the husband was having an affair with their former French governess, and had announced it to the husband that she could not live in the same house with him. This situation had continued for 3 days now, and was painfully felt by the couple themselves, as well as all the members of the family and household. They felt there was no sense in their living together, and that people who meet accidentally at any inn have more connection with one another than they, the members of the family and household of the Oblonskys. The wife would not leave her rooms. The husband was away for the 3rd day. The children were running all over the house as if lost. The English governess quarreled with the housekeeper and wrote a note to a friend, asking her to find her a new place. The cook had already left the premises the day before at dinner time. The kitchen maid and coachman had given notice. On the 3rd day after the quarrel, Prince Stepan Arkadovich Oblonsky Steva, as he was called in society, woke up at his usual hour, that is, at 8 o'clock in the morning, not in his wife's bedroom, but in his study, on a Morocco sofa. And just as an aside, folks, this is Teal speaking again. If I mispronounce some of the names, I apologize. They're all new to me, and they're from a different language. I'll do my best to keep them accurate. Back to the story. He, this being Prince Stepan, rolled his full, well-tended body over on the springs of the sofa, as if wishing to fall asleep again for a long time, tightly hugged the pillow from the other side and pressed his cheek to it. But suddenly he gave a start, sat up on the sofa and opened his eyes. Yes, yes, how did it go? He thought, recalling his dream. How did it go? Yes! Alabin was giving a dinner in Darmast. No, not Darmast, but something American. Yes, but this Darmast was in America. Yes. Alabin was giving a dinner on a glass table, yes. And the tables were singing Il mio tesoro. Only it wasn't Il mio tesoro, but something better. And there were some little Carafes, which were also women, he recalled. I'm not too sure what a Carafe is. Stepan Arkadyevitch's eyes glittered merrily, and he fell to thinking with a smile. Yes, it was nice, very nice. There were many other excellent things there, but one can't say in words, or even put it into waking thoughts. And noticing a strip of light had broken through the side of one of the heavy blinds, he cheerfully dropped his feet from the sofa, felt for the slippers trimmed with gold morocco that his wife had embroidered for him, a present for last year's birthday, and, following a 9-year-old habit without getting up, reached his hand out to the place where his dressing gown hung in the bedroom. And here he suddenly remembered how and why he was sleeping not in his wife's bedroom, but in his study. The smile vanished from his face, and he knitted his brows. Oh, 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 he moaned, remembering all that had taken place. And in his imagination, he again pictured all the details of his quarrel with his wife, all the hopelessness of his position, and most painfully of all, his own guilt. No, she won't forgive me and can't forgive me. And the most terrible thing is I'm the guilty one in it all. Guilty and yet not guilty. That's the whole drama, he thought. Oh, 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 he murmured with despair, recalling what were for him the most painful impressions of this quarrel. Worst of all had been that first moment when, coming back from the theater, cheerful and content, holding a huge pear for his wife, he had not found her in the drawing room. To his surprise, he had not found her in the study either, and had finally seen her in the bedroom with the unfortunate, all-revealing note in her hand. She, this eternally preoccupied and bustling and, as he thought, none too bright Dolly, was sitting motionless, the note in her hand, looking at him with an expression of horror, despair, and wrath. What is this? This? She asked, pointing to the note, and, in recalling it, as often happens, Stepan Arkadyevitch was tormented not so much by the event itself as by the way he had responded to these words from his wife. What had happened to him at that moment was what had happened to people when they are unexpectedly caught in something very shameful. He had not managed to prepare his face for the position he found himself in with regard to his wife now that the guilt had been revealed. Instead of being offended, of denying, justifying, asking forgiveness, even remaining indifferent, any of which would have been better than what he did, his face quite involuntarily, reflexes of the brain, thought Stepan Arkadyevitch, who likes physiology, smiled all at once, its habitual, kind, and therefore stupid smile. That stupid smile he could not forgive himself. Seeing that smile, Dolly had winced as if from physical pain, burst from her typical vehemence into a torrent of cruel words, and rushed from the room. Since then, she had refused to see her husband. That stupid smile is to blame for all, thought Stepan Arkadyevitch. But what to do, then? What to do? He kept saying despairingly to himself, and could find no answer. So, for part 1, that's the end of section 1. What do you think? Sounds like he's in quite a pickle. I'd like to see this family resolve their problems, though. At the very least, I feel a bit bad for this man. Of course, he is a cheater, not one I can easily forgive, but I'm sure everyone has their moments of weakness. Let's move on to part 2 for today and see where it goes. Stepan Arkadyevitch was a truthful man concerning his own self. He could not deceive himself into believing that he repented of his behavior. He could not now be repentant that he, a 34-year-old, handsome, amorous man, did not fear amorous with his wife, the mother of 5 living and 2 dead children, who was only a year younger than he. I think it's amorous, my mistake. He repented only that he had not managed to conceal things better from her, but he felt all the gravity of his situation and pitied his wife, his children, and himself. Perhaps he would have managed to hide his sins better from his wife had he anticipated that the news would have such an effect on her. He had never thought the question over clearly, but vaguely imagined that his wife had long suspected him of being unfaithful to her and was looking the other way. It even seemed to him that she, a worn-out, aged, no longer beautiful woman, not remarkable for anything, simply merely kind mother of a family, ought, in all fairness, to be indulgent. It turned out to be quite the opposite. Ah, terrible, terrible, Stepan Arkadyevitch repeated to himself, and could come up with nothing. And how nice it all was before that. What a nice life we had. She was content, happy with the children. I didn't hinder her in anything, left her to fuss over them and the household however she liked. True, it's not nice that she used to be a governess in our house. Not nice. There's something trivial, banal, in counting one's own governess. But what a governess, he vividly recalled. Now, here's a Russian term I don't fully know because it's borrowed from France. I'll try my best. Let me restart. He vividly recalled Mill Roland's dark, roguish eyes and her smile. But while she was in our house, I never allowed myself anything. And the worst of it is that she's already... It all had to happen at once. Aye. But what to do, what to do? There was no answer, except the general answer life gives to all the most complex and insoluble questions. That answer is, one must live for the needs of the day, in other words, become oblivious. To become oblivious in dreams was impossible now, at least till night-time. It was impossible to return to that music sung by Kareniwho women, and so one had to become oblivious in the dream of life. We'll see later on, Stepan Arkadyevitch said to himself. Getting up, he put on his gray dressing gown with the light blue silk lining, threw the tasseled cord into a knot, and drawing a goodly amount of air into the broad box of his chest, went up to the window with the customary brisk step of his splayed feet, which so easily carried his full body, raised the blind and rang loudly. In response to the bell, his old friend, the valet, Matvey, came at once, bringing clothes, boots, and a telegram. Behind Matvey came the barber with the shaving things. Any papers from the office? Stepan Arkadyevitch asked, taking the telegram and sitting down in front of the mirror. On the table, Matvey replied, glancing inquiringly with sympathy at his master, and, after waiting a little, he added with a sly smile, Someone came from the owner of the livery stable. Stepan Arkadyevitch said nothing in reply, and only glanced at Matvey in the mirror. From their eyes, which met in the mirror, one could see how well they understood one another. Stepan Arkadyevitch's eyes seemed to ask, Why are you saying that, as if you didn't know? Matvey put his hands in his jacket pockets, thrust one foot out, and looked at his master silently, good-naturedly, with a slight smile. I told them to come next Sunday, until then not to trouble you or themselves needlessly. He uttered an obviously prepared phrase. Stepan Arkadyevitch understood that Matvey wanted to joke and attract attention to himself. Tearing open the telegram, he read it, guessing at the right sense of the words, which were garbled as usual, and his face brightened. Matvey, my sister Anna I'm sorry about this. Russian last names, actually. I'm talking as TEAL6 again, by the way. Russian last names change based on gender. They're patriotic names or something along those lines. So I can say Arkadyevitch fairly well, but Anna's is a little bit different. Let me try again. Matvey, my sister, Anna Arkadyevna, is coming tomorrow, he said, stopping for a moment the glossy, plump little hand of the barber, who was clearing a pink path between his long, curly side whiskers. Thank God, said Matvey, showing by this answer that he understood the significance of this arrival in the same way as his master. That is, Anna Arkadyevna, Stepan Arkadyevitch's beloved sister, might contribute to the reconciliation of husband and wife. Alone or with her spouse? Asked Matvey. Stepan Arkadyevitch, unable to speak because the barber was occupied with his upper lip, raised one finger. Matvey nodded in the mirror. Alone. Shall I prepare the rooms upstairs? Tell Darya Alexandrovna wherever she decides. Darya Alexandrovna, Matvey replied, as if in doubt. Yes, tell her. And here, take the telegram. Let me know what she says. Testing her out, Matvey understood, but he said only, Very well, sir. Stepan Arkadyevitch was already washed and combed and was about to start dressing when Matvey, stepping slowly over the soft rug in his creaking boots, telegram in hand, came back into the room. The barber was no longer there. Darya Alexandrovna told me to inform you that she is leaving. Let him do as he, that is, you, pleases, he said, laughing with his eyes only, and putting his hands in his pockets and cocking his head to one side. He looked fixedly at his master. Stepan Arkadyevitch said nothing. Then a kind and somewhat pathetic smile appeared on his handsome face. Eh, Matvey? He said, shaking his head. Never mind, sir. I'll shape up, said Matvey. Shape up? That's right, sir. You think so? Who's there? Stepan Arkadyevitch asked, hearing the rustle of a woman's dress outside the door. It's me, sir, said a firm and pleasant female voice, and through the door peeked the stern, pockmarked face of, oh, this is a hard one, Matryona Filimonovna, the nanny. What is it, Matryosha? Stepan Arkadyevitch asked, going out of the door to her. Although Stepan Arkadyevitch was roundly guilty before his wife and felt it himself, almost everyone in the house, even the nanny, Darya Alexandrovna's chief friend, was on his side. Well, what is it? He said dejectedly. You should go see her, sir. Apologize again. Maybe God will help. She's suffering very much. It's a pity to see. And everything in the house has gone topsy-turvy. The children should be pitied. Apologize, sir. No help for it. After the dance, you must pay the... But you won't receive me. Still, you do your part. God is merciful. Pray to God, sir. Pray to God. Well, all right now, said Stepan Arkadyevitch, suddenly blushing. Let me get dressed. He turned to Matvey and resolutely threw off his dressing gown. Matvey was already holding the shirt like a horse collar, blowing away something invisible, and with obvious pleasure, he clothed the pampered body of his master in it. And that's the end of section 2 of part 1. We're about 6 pages in. I'm going to leave it there for now. Let this be an introduction to what a Let's Read is. If you enjoy this concept and you think that it's something that you'll like, maybe tune in for the next few videos. I think you'll enjoy this story. Don't you want to see if Stepan and his wife make up? I know I do. Catch you later, friends.